What's up, guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Team Member Perspective podcast show. This is like episode 92, which is crazy. I feel like I've been doing this for a long time, but it doesn't feel like that long. But like I've done 92 of these things. Fun, right? So for those of you that have just joined, welcome. In these episodes, in these trainings, I try to provide as much value, training, tips, mindset hacks to help you, if you're a team member, sell more insurance. I want to help you guys make more money. If you're an agent that's listening into this, I want to help you to be able to maybe get this into your team's hands, get it into their ears, and help them start thinking differently, start thinking bigger, start thinking about their role in the agency as an opportunity that it is and not a job, and help them just be pulled in to selling more, right? Because for me, I was a team member for 6 years. And when I learned how to sell insurance consistently at a high level, specifically the life and the health products, my life changed financially. My income changed. I doubled my income. And that's what I want to help you team members get to. I want to help you experience that. And that's the cool thing, is you are in the vehicle that will allow you to do that. There's no one that's saying you can only make this much money in this role, which I think is so empowering. I didn't really understand that until I got into an opportunity where I could make a lot of money, where I could make a commission. But now that I'm thinking back about jobs that I had been to, where I'd go and I'd clock in at 9, clock out at 5:30, and I'm not making a commission. It's just hourly, or it's just salary. I left so unfulfilled every day. I didn't have a drive to become better, to bring more value for the company. But with this opportunity as a team member and being able to create your own little business under the umbrella of your agent's business, like you make it, like the opportunity for you as a team member will be what you make it, right? There are team members that are very average, that are treating this thing as a job where they clock in at 9, clock out at 5:30, and they're just barely scraping by, and they're happy and they're complacent and yada, yada, yada. But there's also other team members that are like making double, triple these other team members that are like within the same role, but they're just looking at it differently and they're taking it to a different level, right? And that's the beautiful thing about this. And my hope is that if you're a team member, that maybe this kind of unlocks you a little bit and helps you start thinking bigger. Because when I've been around people or put people in my ears that help me start to think bigger and challenge my thinking, and I take what they're saying and actually implement it, like, surprise, I actually get results and I actually get to the next level. So that's my hope with this podcast for you team members listening to this, for you agency owners. My hope is really at the end of the day that you find a lot of value in this, that you just click the link in the description below and you schedule a call and you see how we might be able to be a good fit for your team to help train them on how to sell specifically life and health insurance at a high level, right? That's my ultimate goal. At the very minimum, at least get this to your team members, okay? Because it's very specific to the team member role and writing more life insurance, thinking bigger, so we can write more health insurance so that we can make more money, we can bring in more money and more revenue into the agency, but also so we can help more people and find more fulfillment in our roles. Because there is a lot of fulfillment that you can have when you can take this thing and actually turn it into like your actual own little business. It's crazy, okay? So let's get into it. Today, I want to talk a little bit about getting people on the phone, okay? Now, if you're like me, if I get a phone call right now and I don't recognize the number, I'm probably not going to answer, okay? Now, a lot of us are working internet leads where we've got our teams. If you're a team member, you're calling on these leads and people aren't picking up. And that's frustrating, right? Like, how frustrating is it to make 100 phone calls just for 5 to 10 of them to answer? That's what was frustrating for me early on as a team member, coming from door-to-door sales. Like, I was able to get people to answer their doors more than I feel like I could get people to answer their phones. And so that was frustrating for me early on, that I was like, I'm spending so much time calling people and they're not answering. Okay, so I want to take you through a few different things that maybe you can take and implement into your role to get more people on the phone. Okay, and the first thing is this: implement double dial. Okay, and it's this: a new lead comes in, you call them. If they don't answer that first time, which most don't because they don't see your number, it's not saved in their phone, they don't answer that phone that first time, you're going to immediately redial. You're not going to leave them a voicemail. You're going to just hang up when it goes to voicemail, and immediately redial. Just by implementing that, you're going to notice that you're going to get more people on the phone. Okay, and I want you to think about this. If you get more people on the phone, that's going to lead to you quoting more people, which is going to lead to you closing more people. So a lot of times us salespeople are like, I want to get better at my closing ratio. I want to get better at my sales skills so I can close more, get better at closing, get better at overcoming objections. And if I can do that, then I'm going to make more money. I'm going to close more policies, right? What if we got more people on the phone? Do you think that would ultimately help us to quote more people, close more policies that way too? Absolutely. Your ability to get more people to answer the phone will directly correlate to the amount of applications that you sell. Okay? Double dial is one of those tips and tricks that I wish I was taught sooner that allow me to get more people on the phone. So then what I found is I was spending more of my time talking to people on the phone and less of it trying to get people on the phone. And I was less frustrated because I was talking to more people. Okay? So try the double dial. All right, real quick. Exciting news. We finally have the Win the Week weekly planners available for insurance team members. If you're in a sales position and you're in the insurance industry, I want you to know you've got unlimited things that you can do every single week, but you've got a limited resource of time. So what you choose to work on matters. My question is, are you using strategy or are you just flying by the seat of your pants hoping that you hit your goals? Hoping that you end up working on the right things. Listen, if you want to get to that next level, if you want to sell more policies than you ever thought possible, if you want to make more money and have that bigger, fatter paycheck, start planning out your weeks. Take time every day, set aside to review your last week, hold yourself accountable, stop waiting for your agent to do that and just do it, right? Be proactive with your accountability, but then also make plans, make adjustments along the way so that you make sure that you're spending your time the best way, the most effective and efficient way possible, and you will work on the right things. And when you work on the right things, you'll start to sell more. So again, Win the Week weekly planner for team members is available. Check the comments below for a link to purchase, and we'll get you back to the training. Now, let's say that you did the double dial and they did not answer that second time. Okay, what I like to do is I like to then utilize text messages. Okay, now my first initial text message, okay, it's after I've called once, they didn't answer, I double dialed, called again, they didn't answer. I'm going to immediately then send them a text message, and I'm going to keep it really general. I'm going to keep it really vague. And the text message that I will send is, this Coulter? Or, hey Coulter, exclamation mark. That's it, okay? Because the whole point of me sending that text, what is the goal of me sending that text? What do I want to ultimately happen? I want them to respond. That's it. I have not earned my right to quote them yet. I have not earned my right to have a conversation with them yet. Let alone I have not earned the right to close them yet. Before any of that happens, I've got to get them to answer the phone. I've got to get them to respond. And so that's why I keep that text very general, okay? And that's generally what I will do as soon as that lead comes in, like if you're working internet leads, call it as quickly as you can. Speed is so important with internet leads, okay? The sooner that you can get them, the more likely you will be at closing them or quoting them, even close them, okay? And so I will do that as soon as that lead comes in. Then, okay, with these internet leads, this is specific to internet leads. Then what I'll do is I will then put a task out. I'm going to call them again in 30 minutes. Okay? With these internet leads, this first day is huge, right? Like the more people that you get to talk to in the first day of them submitting the lead, like insurance is on their mind. You got to think about what other companies are calling them. Okay? Like your best shot at winning is this first day. Okay? So I'll do that double dial and then I'll text. 30 minutes after that, I'm going to call them again, okay? But this time, if they don't answer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave them a voicemail, okay? And this voicemail, we got to think like, what is the purpose of leaving a voicemail? It's to get the customer to call you back. So I got to think about things from the customer, the prospect's point of view, from their frame. What would get me to call someone back? And when you think like that, you start to understand what type of a voicemail you should be leaving, what you should include, how you should be saying it, how long, all those types of things, okay? Now, I'm going to read you what what I used in voicemails to get people to call me back, okay? Because that's ultimately the goal, is we want people to call us back. So what do we say, okay? I'm going to teach you what to say, but I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about how to say it, because the way that we say things is very important as well. You know that, okay? Here's the thing, is people will interpret what you're saying by the way that you're saying it, okay? Your tonality, right? The way that you're sounding and coming across, but also your verbal pacing, how quickly you're saying things, and if you're pausing or not. Those are very important things that will cause people to either want to call you back and engage, or not to want to call you back and not engage with you, okay? So 30 minutes after that first phone call, we call, and then we double dial after that, and then we send them a text message. It's very general. Hey, is this Colter? Or hey, Colter, exclamation mark. 30 minutes after that, I'm going to call again. It goes to voicemail. Okay, I'm going to leave this voicemail. Okay, it's going to be this. Hey, Mary, this is just Colter with XYZ Agency. It looks like you requested some information earlier today about possibly saving money on your car insurance with some improved coverage. I just called and just want to leave this voicemail. I should be available for a little bit today at this number if you'd like to reach me. That's it, okay? That's it. Okay, and I hope that you, let's talk about what I had mentioned, what I had said in this voicemail, okay? It's just Colter with XYZ Agency, okay? It just implies that you should know me. So it gets people to be pulled into this voicemail. Who is Colter? I should know him. Who is he? Who is he? But it's also what's called a pattern interrupt. People aren't saying that out there. So it doesn't sound like every other voicemail they're getting from every other company that's quoting them. Okay. And it's just Colter with XYZ Agency. Okay. I'm not saying it's Colter with this company, right? I don't want to get there. I want to still be vague. Hey, it's Colter with Colter Johnson Agency. Okay, it's just Colter with Colter Johnson Agency. I want to tell them, I want to be very specific as to why I'm calling them. And it was, hey, it looks like you requested some information earlier, okay, because they put in information that they wanted a quote, okay? And I got to be very specific to that, because here's the deal. If this person filled out a form on Facebook, let's say, to get quotes for their auto insurance, do you think that they might be filling out other forms for other things? They could be getting other calls for other things? Yes. Okay. So I'll say, hey, it looks like you requested some information earlier today about what? Why do people generally shop their car insurance? Well, it's usually to save money or to get better coverage or service. Okay. So I like to tell them the end result of why I'm calling them. Okay, so it looks like you requested some information earlier today. I'm very specific about possibly, okay, see, neutral language. I want to be very neutral in this conversation, okay, because it keeps sales resistance down and it pulls people in, okay, about possibly saving money on your car insurance with improved coverage. That for me that's what's going to get them to call back. That's what's going to create some curiosity, but it's still very vague, okay? I just called and I wanted to leave a voicemail. I should be available for a little bit today. Why do I say that? Okay, because it positions me as an authority person, authority figure who is busy, right? Who is making time for them, but that I should be available for a little bit today. It also creates some urgency for them to call me back in hopes that I can save them money and get them better coverage. Okay. So it creates some urgency there, but it's very neutral as well, okay? I should be available for a little bit today at this number if you'd like to reach me, okay? Important things within this, guys, is we've got to create curiosity. We've got to give them a reason to call us back. And I feel like the way that we can do that is you can be fairly vague. You don't want to say you're with this company, because when you do that, you don't know if they've had a terrible experience with that company. And because, like you said, the company, they're like, I'm not even going to even look at that, even though you might be able to help them. Okay. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you can lose control of this thing. Okay. So you want to still be vague, but tell them why you're calling. Okay. It's just Colter with Colter Johnson Agency. Okay. So we want to create that curiosity that does that. But what will also create curiosity in this voicemail is about possibly saving money on your car insurance with better coverage. That's going to create some curiosity, okay? So we want to do that. We want to give them a reason to call us back, okay? We want to be specific about how we got their information, because again, we don't know what other companies are calling them or what other industries are calling them, because who knows, maybe they filled out more information on Facebook, okay? Or on wherever they found this stuff, okay? We want to use neutral language and a calm tonality. Okay, you don't want to be overly excited, because that will trigger what's called sales resistance. People are like, I don't want to be sold today. This guy sounds like a used car salesman, and that's just not what I want to do today. Okay, that's what happens when you're overly excited. Okay. But we don't want to be overly negative either. It's not going to work. So we want to stay neutral. Okay. And so the words that we use in our tonality will communicate that we are neutral. Okay. And it will pull people in. Okay. You will want to position yourself as a trusted authority whose time is valuable. So when you say things like, hey, if you call back, I should be available for a little bit today. That's what that's doing. It's implying I'm busy. I've got other people to meet with. I'm closing business. Okay. And that you have the problem. You're paying too much for your insurance. It's not me that has a problem. So why would you be qualifying me? I should be qualifying you. And when you say those things, it positions it that way. Okay. It's these small things that'll make all the difference. Okay. And like at the end of the day, like if you want to get people engaged, if you want engagement from others, you need to use what are called pattern interrupts. You need to interrupt their patterns. Okay. Because here's the deal. If you sound like every other salesperson, they're going to in their mind think salesperson, their walls are going up, sales resistance, and it sounds just the same as everybody else, and they don't want to engage with you. But if you don't sound like every other person, they're not going to put you in the same bucket of salespeople, and it's honestly, and it pulls them in. They actually want to engage with you. Okay. It's these small things that will make all the difference for you in getting people to actually call you back. Okay. Because that's the purpose. You want them to engage with you. You want them to call you back. Okay. So that's going to be the voicemail that I leave 30 minutes after that first double dial. And then I text, I call. And if they don't answer, then I'm going to leave that voicemail. Okay. Then after that voicemail, okay, I'm going to send them a text that basically is that same voicemail that I just left. Hey, Mary, it's just Coulter with Coulter Johnson Agency. It looks like you had responded to you requested some information earlier about possibly saving money on your car insurance with better coverage. I just called and I left you a voicemail. I should be available a little bit today if you wanted to reach me. Like I'll send that same text. Okay. Now here's what I want you to think about. Now with iPhones, okay, because we're going to call again this same day. Like day one, we've already called them 3 times between the double dial and then this third phone call, okay, at 30 minutes after that double dial, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to call again an hour after this last phone call, okay? And when I left that voicemail, I sent this text. But when you call them this time, if they have an iPhone, okay, because in your text you said, hey, this is just Coulter, what it's going to do is the caller ID more than likely is going to pick up and it'll say maybe Coulter. Okay. So when you call that, I guess it'd be 4th time. Okay. It's going to say maybe Coulter. So it's not going to look like that same phone number. Okay. It's going to look a little bit different, which should give you team members like this confidence to just make that phone call. Like you got to get through the fact that, I'm bugging people. I'm that type of salesperson. That's not it. It's just like, if you want to give yourself the best shot at winning, you've got to, day one is the day to do it. Okay. And so that 4th time that you call, it's going to show up on their phone if they have an iPhone, maybe Coulter. Okay. And people will pick up those more often than not, right? Like your likelihood of them picking it up when it says maybe Coulter versus just a phone number, they're going to pick those ones up a little bit more. Okay. So that's a trick. It's a hack. But that text will allow that to happen, that 4th phone call that you make. Okay. And so I'll make that 4th phone call. And then, after that, there's 1/5 one that I'm going to make an hour after that one. Okay. So that first day, like as soon as that lead comes in, I'm calling it as quickly as I can. And if they don't answer, I'm going to double dial. And then if they don't answer that second phone call, I'm going to send them a very generic text. Okay. Then 30 minutes after that, I'm going to call them again, but this time I'm going to leave a voicemail. Okay. And then I'm going to wait an hour. I'm going to call them again, but this time I'm going to text them that same voicemail that I just left them, to where when I call the 4th time, an hour after that, it's going to show up on their caller ID as maybe Coulter, okay? And then I'm going to call them a 4th time, okay? Or 5th time. So that's my cadence for day one. And that's really all I want to share as far as that goes, because I feel like if you can just look at your process and figure out how you can maybe make more phone calls that first day and shrink the time from when you get the lead to when you call them, like that needs to be like within seconds. Treat it that way. That's your priority. When that lead comes in, call it immediately. Okay. And you double dial, and then you're calling them 5 times and you're layering in these text messages and these voicemails with the end goal of we want them to engage. We want them to respond. Okay. But if you can just implement that day one, you will start to get more people on the phone. And when you get more people on the phone, you're actually going to be in a position where you can quote more households. And we know if we quote more households, guess what we're going to be able to do? Sell more of them, close more of them. Okay, but it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to quote more households. You're not going to be able to close more of these if you don't first get them on the phone. So figure out how you can get more people on the phone. And quite honestly, I've given you a lot of nuggets of how you can actually go out and make that happen. So guys, I hope that was valuable for you. If it was, go ahead and share in the comments below. That was. And if you want to get around trainings like this consistently every single week, get around other top performing team members just like yourself. If you're a team member, if you're an agent, if you want to get your teams around top producing team members to learn these different things, click the description below, get in touch with us, and we can talk you through about a few of the different things and how you can get closer to us, how you can get involved with us. But I'm telling you, once you get around these top producing team members, once our teams are around them, our minds start to expand. But then we learn exactly what they're doing to get the results that they're doing, okay? And so I appreciate you guys. Go get more people on the phone. You got to get through those limiting beliefs that you have that you're bugging people and that, oh, they're going to get mad when they answer. Here's the deal. At any point of time, if they get mad, that double dial, they're like, why'd you call me again? Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to leave a voicemail the first time. So that's why I called this time. Boom, we're into it. It's easy. And if later on they're like, stop calling me, okay, just move on. But people they're not thinking about you like you think they're thinking about you, right? So you've got to move through that. And the only way to do it is just to commit. You may not have the confidence to do this, but the confidence comes after you commit and after you take the action, not before. And that's a misbelief. That's a misconception we all have. But I'm telling you, if you can just take this stuff and go and implement it, you're going to get more people on the phone. And the more people you get on the phone, the more you're going to quote, the more you're going to sell. And you're going to feel less frustrated by calling 100 people just for 10 of them to answer. What if you could call 100 people and 20 of them could answer? Do you think that's going to ultimately help your end goal of selling more policies? Do you think that's going to put more money in your pocket when the commission check comes? Oh my word, absolutely. Okay. Now, what if you were to get more people on the phone, quote more and actually close more? Cool. Like you're going to sell more that way. But what if you were to take advantage of all these households that you're closing and you were to ask for referrals and have the referral cadence to where you've got this system where you know what to say to ask for the referral, but you're doing multiple touches and multiple asks for this referral. Here's the deal. Think about that. That could pour gas onto this whole thing. Now, all of a sudden, for every household that you submit, because you have this referral process in place and you're consistent with it, now all of a sudden, what if on average you were getting 1 to 2 referrals for every household that you submitted? Think about what that could do for you. Think about the compounding of that, okay? But none of that can happen. None of that will happen until you get more people on the phone. So I hope that's been helpful for you. I wish this was some stuff that I learned earlier on in my career because I know it would have allowed me to go a lot farther and a lot faster. And that is my goal for you, is to, maybe learn these lessons without having to go through all this pain, without the scar. Learn from people that have been where you want to go. These are the things that have the ability to change your income and change your life. So my hope is that's what it's been for you. Again, comment in the description below. Let me know if you like this, if you want to see more of this stuff, because I want to bring content that you want. So use those comments below. Click the description if you want to connect with us, and we'll catch you in the next episode.